Hold on a second, everybody. Welcome. Seem like I'm having. First of all, am I live? Because seem like
no, it doesn't look like you're live.
Because seem like my intro will not work. Let me click on my intro again, people. I think we're having some paranormal issue as we speak. Let me click on my intro. See. A StreamYard issue. Every time I hit intro, it says our mics are muted, but nothing's popping up on my screen. So no intro today. We don't need an intro. We don't need an intro. All right, everybody. So how's it going? So I'm just putting up here. We got GhostDragonzw on with us, talking paranormal. We're just gonna kick back and have fun. But everybody who's here as we speak, I'm hoping that you can see us, because it looks like StreamYard is having a few issues. So I'm checking my backup screen to see if we're on.
Looks like I'm hooked up.
Yeah, it seems like on one of my screens. Oh, okay. I guess we are on. One of my backup screens, we're just spinning in a circle. So it's like, are we on? Are we not on? Are the ghosts and spirits really look? But Danny says we're looking great, so that's the main thing. So the 8 people that are here so far. First of all, let's ask the first question: are ghosts real? In the chat, the few of you that are here so far, put yes or no. Let us know if you, first of all, are a believer in the ghost. Ghosts, spirits, it doesn't matter. Ghosts, spirits, demons, I'm talking about anything that's not alive like us. Do you believe in them? So put yes and no in the chat. Okay, Paranormal Pixie, I'm sure I thought you would put yes. Can you imagine her ever putting no? Her title is Paranormal Pixie? No, I don't believe in it. So we knew she's going to believe in it. You see anybody else? Danny Stanton, what's your thoughts? You believe in ghosts? You believe in spirits? That. Well, you got the word paranormal, so you should be what we call a guarantee yes. Scandro, question to you. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in spirits? Spirits, demons, doesn't matter. Anything that's not alive. Do you guys believe in it? And, well, I'll ask you the first question, Ghost Dragon. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, I do. I see them all the time. I believe in many things that walk on this earth. And I've seen many things that walked on this earth. So, yeah, I believe.
And we're gonna dive, of course, all deep in that. You, myself, we belong to a lot of different. We go to a lot of different communities. The cryptids community, the Bigfoots, the UFOs community. Any community, you've probably seen myself or you in there. Well, one of the things I love about the paranormal community, and Ghost Dragon, you can agree with me or not agree with me, is out of all the communities, it's like the one community that it doesn't matter if you're a male or female, everybody is treated almost equally in investigation. You know what I mean? Like Bigfoot, more people, no offense to women, they look at men, the mountains, the huntings, So men get a little bit more credit in the Bigfoot. But when you go into the paranormal, it's like the most beautiful, fair thing that everybody is listened to. You don't look down because you're a man, woman, by the color of your skin or anything. Paranormal is really a freaking awesome community.
Well,
am I wrong?
No, you're right on. And here's the thing. I don't think a lot of people understand. When you say paranormal, actually that means everything from ghosts to UFOs.
Yeah. You're right.
In between.
And we're talking about the ghosts here. Right. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah,
ParanormalHighway means traveling down the highway looking for everything. Yes. But for this not argument. For this conversation, we're talking about the ghosts of spirits. It seems like the investigations doesn't matter if you're male or female. Everybody's treated equal.
And to me, it seems when it comes to the paranormal, the things that go bump in the night is stronger in the women's field. You'll find that there are a lot more women investigators out there than there are men. A lot of women are, and I'm good with that. And I'm starting to see it now with the Bigfoot community or the cryptid community.
Yes.
And are starting to get more involved in that.
We saw Jessica Jones on my channel on Tuesdays where she's into it all.
Yeah. And it's just a growing thing. Everybody's starting to catch on.
It is. But one thing I have noticed more of one-sided versus the other side is when I think of the word mediums, people with gifts. It does seem like there's more women with these gifts than men. And I'm wondering, is it really, or is it women are
I think women are
awesome because women fake less than men do. I hate to tell you, men like to fake things more. Women are more percentage-wise. We know there's fakers on both sides, but women seem to be more realistic than men are. And but it is interesting that I see more women as mediums versus men. What do you think of that?
I should know.
You work with Gina Jade.
Yeah, I work with Gemma, and I'm
Gemma.
I would say, Gemma. She brought me into that kind of line, and that's when I started looking around at other channels and stuff, because I ghost a lot of channels, and it is amazing that the majority are women. There are a few men out there, and they're starting to pop up more too. But yeah, it's
is it because of this? Like what Bobby wrote, women seem to be more in tune with it.
Yeah, I kind of believe that. Yes, they go more off. They will rely more on their instincts when it comes to those things. They're more open. They seem to be a little more verbal about it than men are. Men tend to hold back a little bit in all fields when it comes to the ghosts and stuff. But now I'm seeing it's a lot more equal now, except for that medium field where it is. And it'll always be a woman thing. And I don't mind that because they are more in tune. They are way more in tune.
I lived in a house that was haunted. That's one beautiful thing. Also, if you like to investigate, you like to explore. A lot of people think ghosts, not everybody, but a lot of people think you have to go to a graveyard or so. You have to go to a known haunted house, and that is just not true. There's ghost spirits everywhere. Your own house could be haunted, but not in a bad way. We hear the word haunted, we think evil. Haunted, just you're sharing space,
creepy, not right,
with energy. We all share with energy. So when somebody says their place is haunted, I bet you every house, every spot on this planet, there's a spirit or ghost. It just doesn't mean they're all going to show themselves to you.
No,
and that's the question, right? Like how with somebody, if a ghost is where somebody passes away, and I'm always wondering this, I don't know why, like when somebody passes away and they don't go where they're supposed to go, if that's a reincarnation, if somebody believes in heaven, or somebody believes in, I don't know, just where your energy goes.
Right.
And if your energy stays, the question is like, do they keep all their memories, or are they just designated certain memories and the reason why they're there? There's so much like I'm trying to understand. We're all trying to understand. I know there's gonna be a person out to know this is why they're here. Nobody truly knows. Everything is speculations on why they're here. Right. But I wonder, if I believe they're real, you believe they're real, do they keep all their memories when they're here?
Now, after years of research, and this is my opinion, I believe that some do, and some are just a recording that replays over and over again, and then your residual, and then I believe that some, as they get, longer they become a spirit and walk the earth, they kind of deteriorate because you really are not supposed to hang around.
Yeah.
And I really believe that's the case. But I think, yeah, there are spirits out there that know who they are, where they're at, what's going on. But I do believe that after a prolonged period of time, they lose that.
Yeah, longer you stay here,
Right.
more they're losing it, and maybe that's why some ghosts become cranky or they get angry because they're not understanding
more
on why
powerful.
they're here. But
Right.
that's the question itself. Like, if they're not supposed to be here, what's causing them to be here? You know what I mean? Like what's causing them to not go over? And that's the challenge. That's what I want to know.
Because everything is different. You go from they had unfinished business to they were bound to a place because of an incident or something has happened there that was tragic. It can range from another thing. And another thing is spirits are everywhere because there are spirits that just wander. They don't know where they're at, what they're doing, and they kind of lose that memory as soon as they pass, and they don't go into the light, so they just wander the earth.
Well, and if you really truly think about it, like Paranormal Pixie wrote, and why do most that ghosts are not where they're meant to be? Like I had a few people, Amherst Paraworld or whatever, say they saw my sister brother standing next to me, but technically my brother's sister died at a hospital, not here, and then if it is here, it is, then it's a kind of amazing that some believes that where you die is where you haunt, but that's not true, because how can we explain all these family members or whatever at your own house when technically they died at a hospital, they died somewhere else, but somehow they find their way back? And that's interesting too. Like, how do they find their way back? Is it the energy connection? Do they know where to go? And the ones who wander around, why do they wander around? Why do they not go back to where they know the most? You know what I mean? There's so much to learn.
Well, it's a matter of, and you can learn everything. It's like somebody told me, Steve, you can do all the research on everything you can, but you're going to always learn something new, and nothing ever stays the same. There's something, and especially in this field, something's always changing.
Something is. And Frost Kitten wrote, well, it said energy cannot be destroyed, only transfer. And I believe that in too, because first of all, how can you destroy energy that you can't even see? You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like not everybody has the ability to see ghosts or see this, or they might feel cold, they might feel something, but it's not like ghost energy is there. And then how can you destroy it? And even though we think of energy, what kind of energy are they? Are we gonna discover one day to find? I know it sounds weird, guys. We like to go deep, all right, people in the chat. Sometimes we go deep. Like people say frequency is a way you can talk to a ghost and stuff. So is there like an energy frequency that we gotta try to dial into to find the right energy source, the right way to be able to contact? I know, not joking, but I know like they drain batteries if you bring batteries with you. But is there are we going to learn someday on a certain kind of energy? I don't know how we're going to develop different energy. There's different things that will allow us to talk to them. Is it more clean energy versus dirty energy? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Both. It could actually be both.
About it all.
It could be both. It could be clean and dirty energy. Hello, dear.
It's that learning. You know what I mean? There's so much more that people think to learn in this field. But first of all, the first question, you got to believe the ghost is real, even in the first place. If you don't believe it's real, then I don't know why you're listening to us. And if you do believe in real, are they intelligent? Are they like a record player? They just go over the same thing every single day.
A little of everything. A little of everything's out there. I really believe that. And interesting too, is like you were talking about the residual, something like a record just keeps playing over and over.
Yeah. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I use record player.
Right. Well, I say the same thing, or like a tape on repeat.
Yeah.
I have seen that in a number of times in real time where we have stayed at a hotel and the same incident would happen at the same time every night. And then we stayed at one place where it was like the lady told us that like once, I think it was in July. Yeah, it was in July. She said between the 16th and the 17th, like this time of year, this thing would always happen in her hotel. And it would literally come through and devastate 3 rooms. I mean, just trash these 3 rooms. And then it wouldn't happen again for another year. And she bought the hotel thinking that somebody or a group of people got in a big fight at the hotel and either somebody had died.
Here's a question I want to ask Paranormal Pixie, and I want to ask Jim and Jade.
Heck, if they're not busy, you can if you can get them on, you can let them come on.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they want to, come on, it's up. It's I'll just throw it in the chat, and
that's up to you.
And that's if they want to come on. Now I forgot exactly how this is what I wanted to ask them. Okay, the other day, I think last week I had Sasquatch Secrets on, Nikki, and I can't remember exactly who she talked to. She talked to somebody who said that she's blocked from talking, maybe seeing spirits and all that. And I'm always wondering, well, what do they mean you're blocked? I mean, so like I don't know if Gina Jade or Paranormal Pixie or any of them have like the answers to that. But when somebody say you're blocked from seeing things, is it because yourself is your brain is built that way to be blocked, or is something causing you to be blocked? What is it that's causing a person to be blocked, and how can you get unblocked? Because I'll be honest, I always wanted the ability to not have to have Amber Paraworld or Vault from Paranormal say, "Hey, Eric, there's somebody next to you." Why can't I see that, feel it, right out the bat? You know what I mean? Like if I'm blocked, how can you get unblocked?
Well, I know people can block from seeing things. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I've tried every way there was possible. So I am meant to see what I see. But I know Gemma and I know Laura and other people that can actually block themselves from, kind of keep themselves protected by shutting it off when they're out in the world. I don't have the ability to do that. And then there's some people, they just block themselves because they've got it in their mind that they're always going to see something bad. So they immediately just shut it off.
Well, see, and you're right. So some people have the ability to shut off, but some of us don't have the ability to turn it on.
Right.
Well,
actually,
can we?
You do but everybody's different. So everybody has a different trigger mechanism that could set that off. But some people may never see that side of the world because of things.
Well, what did she wrote? She wrote, "Oh yeah, I know for me. I know for. So I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I know for me. Honestly, if I violate the rules, I lose my abilities. Rules. Hold on. Now, I can't wait to. I know she's coming on my show. I think next week or so. I got to find out. Like. First of all, how do you know you have rules? Like what tells you have certain rules? That is interesting. But I've also blocked myself in addiction. It depends, because then there are PPL who just are blocked because that's how they I'm guessing she's saying that's how are both that fell out in that many ways. I think Miss Pixie could explain unblocking better, because I can't keep myself blocked, but I can shut it off. I mean, that is interesting. You know what I mean? Just blocking stuff. It is intriguing. Oh, Eric, do you have the ability? We are all born with it, but you have to find the ability, then work with it. And that's awesome. I'm not disagreeing with you, but we all born that ability, but it's like the old question: how do I, like the Jedi, like how do you dive into that force to be able to practice it and burst it out? Like what do I need to practice every day to get that out? Is it meditation? Is it, you know what I mean? I mean, I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot.
A lot of it, like I said, it's that everybody has. To me, I don't know if Gemma will agree, but everybody has a trigger system, and you just got to find that trigger system.
Yes, you're right. You're right. There's something that makes you love something. There's something that makes you hate something. There's something that triggers something. You're right. There is that something. And this is interesting. Mine is blocked because of my mental health issues and being told it's not real. You know, and I'm not making fun of nobody's mental health. I don't want YouTube thinking I'm making fun at all. But we do live in a time and era that to fix anything, it seems like you got to take pills, you got to take this, you got to, you know, you get a headache, you got to take aspirin. You know, you're taking so much stuff. Yep. Could just even over the counter stuff that you take mess with your brain where you can't get unblocked.
It's possible. And Gemma did answer your question about rules.
Oh, let me see here.
It's right above Danny.
And guys, I'm trying to keep up fast as I can with the chat, but sometimes, you know, Ghost, you know, it's hard to keep up with every single thing in the chat. Yeah, and that's why it's important to have somebody else on your channel with you, so if you miss it, they can see it. Yes, rules. That fell out. Can't give out lottery numbers. What? I know, Gemma. If you could give out lottery numbers, you already know someone who won it. and we will all be sitting pretty.
Oh yeah.
Lottery numbers. I know because spirits tell me my guides help me understand what is allowed and what isn't. You know, and I believe there is weird things that sometimes in life that we can't explain. Like I said, I told this story before, like when my father passed away, we went to the graveyard. You know, everybody knows the story that the people who were supposed to set this up didn't have nothing ready for us. There was nothing. There was no ceremony. There was no military ceremony. They put the dates wrong. I had people came up from Oregon, California, and we had to make up our own ceremony. And I said how earlier it was raining, and then but when we did our speeches, it was clear as a bell. I mean, there were some clouds, but no rain, no nothing. We did our speeches, we did our thing. Then the cars start to go off for whatever reason, and I'm not saying. I made a joke like, "Oh, that's my Uncle Bob doing that," you know, because he you know, he's a spirit. And then as soon as we get into a car, then it just poured down hell. But it's like it was almost like spirit-wise, we're gonna clear it for you. You can speak about us. When you get in the car, then we're gonna come down. Yes, it could be luck, but the car is going off. But on the same side, it kind of tells you there's more out there we just don't fully understand. The day before my father passed, we didn't even know he was going to pass. He was telling us how he was talking to his mom and dad.
Actually, my mother did the same thing before she passed. The day before, she said that she was talking to family members, and then it just got bad from there.
And of course, science or doctors going to say, well, the chemicals, okay, whatever. But when you listen to these people's stories and the details that they say, what these medications just some magically made them know exactly how, you know what I mean? Like too much, way too much. That is just.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but Alzheimer's patients and dementia patients, after a couple of years of having, as it progresses, a lot of them tend to see what they call light beings. These people, these human form people in light, or like shiny, like Gemma would say, a glimmer man, but they see these in their room, and sometimes they scare them, and sometimes they don't. But I've run into during research that a lot of Alzheimer's and dementia people see these things before they get way bad.
Did you say? Yes, they're prepare you for crossing over. I've seen doctors storm out of rooms because I would say something they knew I couldn't know because I saw it surrounding or what's the patient's mind. And I believe that for Jim and Jade 100% because there was 5 years that I worked for a medical company that did medical machines to hospitals, wound vac machines, and I was a supervisor, but sometimes I would have to go on some of the deliveries because we had a small team. Somebody calls in or vacation, I'll do the deliveries. In a lot of these rooms, you go in and they say, "Oh, you just look like." Oh, I thought I was just talking to my uncle, son, and you hear these people over and over, and not just the same hospital, all these different hospitals. Because, like I said, I was going in there every single day, and you cannot tell me that every single one of them is all because the medication they're taking, they're faulty. Because I always said this, Ghost Dragon, it only takes one to be even true to make everything real.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Only
And
one.
Gemma will tell you, I've spent my time in the hospital, a lot of time in the hospital, and the things I've seen, and I'm not even. I won't use the medication that they give me for my Tourette's and some of the other issues because I always seem to have a reaction. In fact, one medicine literally killed me not too long ago, and they had to bring me back, and so I won't use the medication. So that also helps keep my mind kind of clear too, because I won't use it. I won't use painkillers either, even after surgery. Maybe 2 days after surgery, I'm done with the painkillers. And the things I've seen and talking to doctors, oh, they know darn well that people see things that are not caused by medication.
Like the first thing everybody asks me, laugh out loud, is for lottery numbers. But can you actually really truly blame people? I mean, we live in a world right now that we're all one step away of living in a box in an alley.
Right.
The way prices are, you like I said, you go to a hospital doctor, you get these bills that's the thing that's going to put you in a box. So, you know, lottery numbers is like, it's not a cheat way out, but
It's
God.
that instant cash. But you know how many people get cursed because of that?
Oh God, yes. Oh, you hear stories that it actually ruined their life more
Yeah.
than it helped them,
Oh yeah.
and then
And then they wonder why they become a ghost.
now there was a I'm trying to. I wonder why this other page that I have that for whatever reason I'm still spinning in a circle on one of my tabs, but
That's so weird.
on my other computer that I see here, I'm not. It's just I think we're in. I think spirits are taking over. But you did a
Because I'm here. That's because I'm here. And Gemma's here too. So that brings them in like a flock. Especially with her.
And that's another kind of a conversation too, in a way, because oh wow, I can't even dude, I can't even do that.
It's not letting you what?
You know how you share a screen? You share.
Yeah.
I was gonna show that like the video like you did. StreamYard is not letting me
Really? Even on your main screen?
on my main screen. Like, let me see if now that's a share screen. Let me try a video file. I'm just curious if a video of any videos that I had. Let me see. Do I got a video? So there is something wrong with there is something. Let me see here. Yeah, I clicked on to put a video up on the screen. It's not even doing that. So right now, StreamYard is not letting me share the screen. The device is having trouble sharing your video. Try sharing again. So I can't show videos. I can't show your footage. But what? I know it's going to be hard. I hate that because I can't show people what I'm talking about. But what I'm going to do is in the chat, if StreamYard works, I'm going to put the link to the video I'm talking about. You were on a show with Gemma, and you were with the Paranormal Pixie, and there was for a couple seconds. Uh-oh. Am I frozen? Whoa, what's going? Hello, can somebody see me? Am I on? I think I'm on. What is going? There is something going on with StreamYard right now. I lost. I lost Ghost Dragon. Hopefully, yeah, I can see I'm on now, but there is something going on with StreamYard, and it's not. So no, I know it's not me. Or, huh? Ghost Dragon, if you can hear me, see me, use your same link again. And I wonder if the link is going to even work. I'll Ghost Dragon. I'll put the link in the chat, and you can see if that works again. If that works, to get you up here. So there's. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's paranormal. That's just here. Well, see, I can pull up that square. Hey, let me see if the intro works now. Maybe StreamYard fixed their thing. Let me see if the intro works. Nope, intro doesn't work. I'll share screen again. Wow. Wow. Nothing. That is just, that sucks. That truly sucks. I can't share. I can't show videos. And I don't even know if, oh, yes, it's definitely paranormal because you're on the Paranormal Highway. I don't know if the link to get on is working. I would say that entity that was the shadow in the video didn't want to be seen. Okay. So at least you can hear me. And if, I hope Ghost Dragon will be able to coming. Gemma. Gemma. Now, somebody did leave me a comment, and I want to discuss that comment to clarify that comment. And that's the part I was going to ask Ghost Dragon. That when the black thing went in front of him, somebody in the chat, not the chat, somebody messaged me saying, Eric, that is just black smoke from the cigarette. That's what somebody wrote. That's what somebody wrote to me. He lost internet. He's trying to come back on. Okay. But that, so somebody said that was the black smoke from his cigarette, but and I can see where somebody thinks that, and if that's the answer to what happened to him, then I'm not saying it's not, but so when I watched the video, thinking somebody saying, well, that's just the black smoke, so I'm watching like Ghost Dragon's eyes and kind of like his reaction to what happened, and I would think he would know if it's smoke from his own cigarette, because if the camera is catching it like that, his eye is not going to catch it like that. His eye is going to look at it, at his cigarette smoke coming out of it, like always. So, is that a possibility for the camera's sake? But if I remember right, I think Ghost Dragon was talking about that he felt something strange. And that's the part I wanted to start to get diving into until all this issue. Yeah, you will get those people. Humans will tell themselves anything not to have except reality is scary. Eric, you want to send me the link? I'll come on until Steve's come back. Yeah, the link is right here in the chat. You can just right there, just if you want to come on and talk about it. Yeah, and you're right, Gemma. People will say anything, especially if they're a skeptic, and that's normal reaction from people. And then I'm fine with them questioning things, because you should question things. You should question because you want to break down to the reality of what happened. Like, for example, Danny sent a video of a possible Bigfoot behind his bush, and somebody goes, oh, that's just a porcupine or something. But Danny says, no, what he saw was 8 feet. So this person questioning thinking it's an animal, that's a fair thing. Now let's uh-oh. Uh-oh. I see. Oh, hold on.
Can you hear me?
This is
What happened?
shoot.
I took my video off because
Shoot. There is definitely something wrong with StreamYard. Hold on.
Okay.
Shoot, there is definitely something wrong with StreamYard because as soon as Gemma jumped into the bottom square, everything froze. So people in the chat, I apologize, but I can't do anything about StreamYard. But
yeah, there's
Jim J, can you actually hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you?
Yeah, see, and it shows that she's not on mute. It shows that she's no, we can't hear you, Gemma. We cannot hear you. We can't hear you. So there is definitely something wrong with here. Let me pull you out. Let me remove you. Oh. Okay. It looks like anytime. Wow. Okay. Oh shoot. Okay.
Can you hear me now? So you guys can't hear me at all. Some of them can hear me, but oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know what's happening. I'm just trying to help. I feel bad for Eric because a lot of people understand, like when you're in the chat, you see it happening, but then in the comments, people start getting really aggravated and uncomfortable. But it's not even really, I don't think, Eric's connection issues. I believe that it's StreamYard. 100%. And I don't know why I have a picture of Godzilla instead of a picture of me. Thank you, Ghost Dragons, for that one. And no, slow motion, you're absolutely right. They do not happen in non-paranormal streams. And what I would like to say is, hopefully you guys can still hear me. Otherwise, I'm just going to back out and let Eric do his show because clearly there's something going on. But I hope you can hear me because I want to say that entity that revealed itself that night, that shadow, did not want to be. That particular entity was there for a specific reason. And I know, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep it going for him because I know how this is. It's very frustrating. That specific entity did not really want to be seen. So I'm wondering, like she wanted to be seen that night for specific reasons, which I really haven't figured out yet, except that I was told that. But I'm wondering if maybe the stream is being shut down because she did not want to continue to be seen, I guess. But it's very strange because Ghost Dragons and I live stream, sometimes 3 times a week, and this has never happened to him. Yeah, no problem, Eric. I got you covered. The whole thing may go down, guys, if he's restarting his computer, but we'll be back. So, tell you guys a story. Yeah, so I actually am just getting my day started. and I messaged Ghost Dragons to say good morning, which is afternoon. And he was like, I'm on with Eric. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot, because I'm a hot mess and running late as usual with everything. But, you know, I've been getting a lot of downloads lately, extraterrestrial downloads, which I know is a whole different set of things you've got to believe in. But I'm going to do a 10-part series on my channel. As far as abilities, guys, we are all born with them. But some of us are contracted in to remember, and some of us are not. Hey, Eric.
I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. I just it's
Can
funny
you
how
hear me
everybody heard you and I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
That was weird. It seemed like
And
restarting the computer helped.
Ghost Dragons never loses internet. We stream 2 to 3 times a week. So it's very weird that that would happen. I was telling your chat, though, that one of the reasons could be because of the entity, the lady in the light, which is what showed itself that night, which was what the shadow was there for a specific reason, to kind of help me understand something that I'm dealing with personally. But that particular entity really is an entity that shows itself often and doesn't like to be seen. So I'm wondering if maybe that's why this is all happening, because maybe she just doesn't want to continuously be seen. Because I was pretty excited that you were going to share it. I'm like, oh, nice, someone's sharing one of my videos on a different stream, and that's exciting. Maybe it'll play now that you restarted, but I would kind of be afraid to like try again because
it seemed like anytime a square popped up on the bottom, and then when I clicked like get you on, then things start freezing. But I am gonna try to pull up your thing. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, everybody knows in the chat that this issue is not on purpose.
Like Slow Motion said, you know, this happens a lot more in paranormal streams.
Nope.
If you're watching regular streams in paranormal,
I can't share.
Okay, I might have to check something on my end on that. But I believe that, you know, anyone can share anything of mine. So I don't think that's anything on my end.
It's StreamYard, because I can't even pop up a video. I can't pop up share screen or nothing. It just it's spinning in a circle, and it says right here, your device is having trouble sharing your video. So it's definitely got to be a StreamYard issue.
Okay. Well, we tried, guys.
Right?
But Ghost Dragon ZW does have the timestamp. So if you want to go and watch it, I believe the link to the video is in the description. And I just asked him if he was planning on coming back. So yeah.
Yeah, and I did put earlier in the chat the link to that video, and I remember it was like at the 48-minute mark. It was closer.
It was 42 minutes and some odd seconds. So if you started at 42 minutes and go to 43 minutes, it's right when Ghost Dragons lights a cigarette, which is why people are saying, or someone said it could be the black smoke. I understand why people think that. My husband does not believe in the paranormal. It's not that he doesn't believe me, that I see the things I see, but we just don't discuss it. It aggravates him. He doesn't like to hear about it. And I think it just makes him uncomfortable. And I feel like some people are just naturally more closed off than others. I feel like even Miss Pixie could tell you, you know, she has worked really hard honing her abilities and getting to know what she's good at and learning and growing. And she's become a fantastic energy healer and a bunch of other things, you know, that she can do. I have a girl in my stream, Darling Deb, who is learning how to be a medium, where for me, they're just always there. You know, I tell people on my Wednesday night stream where I read Oracle that, yes, I'm reading the chat, I'm channeling, I'm giving you guys a reading, but I'm like telling people to line up. I'm telling people, you know, spirits, to get out. You don't belong here. You go over there, go play in the corner, stop yelling in my ear, don't touch me. Like all of these mental conversations are going on that that nobody else is aware of but me, because I'm the only one that can interact with the spirits, with the the teams that I pull in. And that's why a lot of the times people will say, you're so frazzled, you're all over the place. And it's like, yes, I am. I have over 250 spirits in my master bedroom, and half of them I didn't call. They like wandered in from the woods. And so yeah, it gets difficult.
You know, when I was talking about that comment somebody made about, you know, the cigarette smoke, and I like comments like that, because, you know, you're supposed to try to think of a reason why something happened. But the thing is, what I was trying to explain, I don't know if I was caught off or not, cameras can catch light smoke differently that you didn't notice. The thing is, when that incident happened, you could see in the eyes of Ghost Dragon, like, what the hell just happened? And you saw the eyes of Paranormal Pixie, like what just happened? And even though the camera could do weird things, your own eyes are not going to do weird things like that, like the camera. You know what I mean? Uh-oh.
You're frozen, but we can still hear you, so don't worry.
Oh, I hate that. You know what I mean? So if it was a camera doing that to the smoke, that camera would not be working as your eyes.
And not only that, if you watch that stream, see, it's hard because a lot of people that are coming in to watch that video, like, I get it. They don't watch our streams, you know, every week. And you'll notice Ghost Dragons every once in a while throughout that whole stream. He keeps looking behind him, and there's a lot of pixelation going on above his head right before that happens. And yeah, slow motion, I was just going to bring that up. Also, I'm not one for like really seeing orbs. And it's not that I'm a non-believer in orbs, but I have never actually seen them and where I thought that they were spirit. So like slow motion just said, not to mention the light orbs we have seen more than once on Gemma's stream, all the time floating around me in the background that I'm not aware of because they're behind me, or we'll get full blown audio. We're not doing EVP sessions, but you will hear full-blown audio EVPs come through on my streams. And for me, that's a big validation when I tell people there's a million other things going on. There's hundreds of spirits here. There, you know, when I open myself up on a Wednesday night to do those readings, I am fully open, and I live in the middle of the woods. Like, my house was dropped in the woods, and they left. So the things wander in. And so when those types of things happen, when you hear like random laughter, or you'll hear my house, like something's like my house will start to shake in the middle of a stream and there's no one around. And those things are great validation for non-believers, for sure.
But there's a question I want to ask you. Okay. People don't think this question is inappropriate. I know some people might think this, but okay. But so you like you said, you can see like 250 spirits are in the house. Now, say it a nice way, you know, you want to be alone in your bedroom, husband, you know, anybody wants to be alone in the bedroom, husband with wife and stuff. Can you actually tell all spirits to say, give me an hour, stay out of here? Because I can see like your husband or like you don't want to feel like you're being watched. You know what I mean? I know how silly it sounds.
No,
but
and
you force
that's
them
actually a very reasonable question, because a lot of people ask me things like that. What about when you're showering? Here's what I tell them.
Or going bathroom. Exactly.
I was saying when I was just in the chat before I jumped on that I can turn it off. So on Wednesday, when I want to pull that energy in to give the readings to channel, or when I'm doing personal readings or personal spiritual sessions with somebody, what I'll do is what I call opening. And that's when I open my energy up to allow these things to come in. The problem is I cannot pick and choose. I can't say spirit teams of anyone in the chat, you may come in, but the random demonic entity roaming around in the woods behind my house, you have to stay out. That's something altogether else I have to do. So for the most part, I do shut myself down to it when I'm outside of my home, or at times when my family is home, because I also don't want it frightening my son. He just turned 5 and he's had some issues already. And you know, so yes, I never block myself anymore because that led me into addiction and it just wasn't good. But I do shut down every once in a while when I go out in public. Not only are spirits always around, you'd be surprised how many are just in your local grocery store, just hanging around because of the land. But also I know stuff. Like I'll know the guy in the table behind me is beating his wife, or I'll know that the lady sitting in front of us is there because she's cheating on her husband with that guy, or I'll know the waiter like didn't wash his hands. Like I know way too much. So when I go out in public, I literally have to shut down. And I remember 2 years ago in Halloween, I forgot to do it. I was in a rush. I ran out of the house and I went into Spirit Halloween. And I was waiting for someone to get back to me about a costume because we were going to be streaming, and I'd forgotten. And the place was mobbed because it was like the night before Halloween and everyone was rushing. And my husband and my son waited in the car. And what happened was I got so overwhelmed, I ran into a corner and kind of crouched down and covered my head and my ears and just started rocking back and forth. And my son came in and he's like, look, Daddy, Mommy's playing hide and seek. You know, he didn't understand what was happening, but my husband knew right away. And it was that something was going on as far as my abilities, because I will just pick up too much and I will become overwhelmed.
And that's got to be hard for him that doesn't know how to protect you.
Well, also, yeah, he's a boomer. Okay. He just turned 66 on Friday. So, and you know, I'm only 40. So he doesn't even understand like the internet generation, let alone like when he was growing up, you didn't talk about those things even when you did see them. Right. And he grew up in a house like that. So to him, it's like he believes in me, but there's this whole other world out there that I think at his age, he just doesn't want to know about. You know, he just doesn't want to know. He doesn't say anything when I put protective mechanisms around the property in the house, but he just doesn't, I don't get to discuss it, which is one of the reasons I came on YouTube in the first place, was to have an outlet for all of this stuff.
You know how cool that is that you just said? Because I used to tell people that I live in Seattle where like, especially the cryptic, like Sasquatch, a lot of people believe in the Sasquatch, but they just don't care to speak about it. They don't care. I mean, it's they know it exists,
right?
They just don't care to talk about it at all. And it's not that they think you're crazy or not. They think there's more important things than to talk about a cryptid or a paranormal. So there are people who believe, but they just want to talk about it.
And
they
another,
don't care.
yeah, and it's like that's going to open up like a whole other can of worms. You know, very recently, actually, an uncle, my mother's brother, got very sick very quickly, and I did tell her, like, you need to get in contact with him by this Sunday because, you know, he's going to be gone. I start seeing death flies on people. And she didn't take my advice. And she did call me, you know, it got to midnight and I was like, wow, I was wrong. That's crazy. And then she called me at 12:43 and she's like, he died at 11:30. I should have listened to you. Like, I know what I'm talking about. What's up, Miss Shelley?
Yeah, she's saying, question for Miss Gemma. Have you ever tell them to get in line,
Yes.
wait their turn?
She sees it. She sees it in the stream, especially on Wednesday. You'll just see me suddenly look really agitated and I won't say anything for a minute. Or you'll see me suddenly like move back, like back away. And I will look so angry and someone will be like, what just happened? And I'm like, they're jumping in front of each other and they don't want to wait their turn. And I'll be like, hold on, guys. And I'll pull myself out for a second. And I have to. And it was funny because I think it was Big Willie one time that said, what do you just treat them like little kids? I'm like, yes, I literally tell them I'm working right now. Take this and go in the corner, or, you know, don't be in my presence right now. Or, you know, just we're out in public. Make sure you're quiet. I don't want to be seen talking to myself, you know. And one thing about being alone that you mentioned, it's something funny, but it is something that most people should know, right? So alone time with my husband or in the shower or taking a bath. If Uncle Bob was kind of creepy and like that way in real life, Uncle Bob is going to be kind of creepy in that way in spirit as well. Okay. So if you had to worry about him looking through the peephole in real life, like when he was alive, you definitely have to worry about that more so. But really, you can just say like, I don't want anyone watching me. Okay. This is my private time. And usually, as long as you're not dealing with like a demonic or evil type entity, they will respect your authority and your opinion. And you're right. You do sometimes have to treat them like children. Like, don't you see I'm on phone?
And I wasn't asking that to be funny, but I'm always curious because people say your parents or your mom's always with you, your dad's always with you. I'm like, really? I don't want to be with me when I'm on the toilet.
They definitely they have things to do on the other side. They have jobs, they have things that they're doing. So it's mainly when you call them in or when your energy calls to them that they need you or a proud moment. They're not just constantly walking around behind you. You know, they know when you're about to go into the bathroom to like pee or poop, you know, like they'll leave.
I do want to ask everybody in the chat wants me to do the ghost box, and I'm not going to play the ghost box right now, people, because the ghost box you really have to put on, like Exploring Harley told me, put on headphones and really listen to it. But a person like yourself that already has ability to have a conversation, would you even use a ghost box for yourself, or do you believe that a ghost box truly does work to hear certain words from the spirit world?
I put that to the test one time. I wanted to know because I didn't believe in them at first. I was like, they're picking up random words.
Radio frequencies.
Coincidentally, it sometimes will happen. Now, I no longer believe that because about 2 years ago, I put it to the test. I walked through a house that was known to be, according to the residents, incredibly haunted. I got up in their attic and I started speaking to the spirits up there and the entities up there. And I did not tell anyone what they told me. But I wrote down a list of questions for the residents to use while using one of those boxes. Right now, I don't need one. I can clearly communicate with spirit, but I do use them so that other people can hear what I'm hearing. Right. But I gave them the list of questions, and 2 days later, they called me back and gave me the answers that they received. They played the recording for me, and every single thing they caught lined up exactly with what I had written down while I was in their house and what the spirits in the attic had told me. They told them the exact same things through the box.
I like this. Gemma has an eternal ghost box.
Unfortunately, sometimes, you know, it used to feel like such a curse, you know, obviously growing up. And I had this moment, and it wasn't until I was like 14 where I really understood that I was speaking with spirit. I don't know how people are like, how did it take you so long to understand that? And it's like, well, I just got so conditioned as a little kid not to talk about it. I thought everyone can do it, but we just don't talk about it.
Gemma, you just proved my point. You know, for like I said, when I grew up, my family, they talked about the Bigfoot like nothing, like he's part of nature, part of all that. And I remember going to school because we didn't have internet. We didn't have a way to look up. I thought everybody thought it was real until people said, no, he's just a folklore story. And I remember a person goes, and how do you believe that a Bigfoot could be real? I'm like, well, there's a time that everybody thought Santa Claus was real. When you're being told that something is real, you don't know what should be right around. Now, I know Sasquatch is real because we witnessed one, but you know, nowadays you can click anything. It's easier nowadays, but I see your point. But let me ask you this too. You know, it drives me crazy when somebody calls themselves a hardcore Bigfoot hunter, or they go out and do research, but they don't want anything to do with the paranormal, ghost, spirits, or nothing. They don't want to combine the two. And I hate that because when you go out in the woods, when you hear sounds, first of all, how do you know you're not hearing sounds that's from energy, from other animals that were once alive and they're a spirit now? Wouldn't you want to know that?
Absolutely. But you know what? I can tell you too, I've noticed with people who they're accepting of extraterrestrials, they're accepting of Bigfoot, they're accepting of ghosts, spirits, demons, even angels. But when they hear I wrote a book about the Fae, they will draw a hard line at believing in fairies. And it's like, but I also used to be one of those people. Now I know for an absolute fact that the spirit world exists. I'm a medium. I've been one probably since the womb. I came with complete clarity on that. I had no interest at all until about 2 years ago when I started meeting all of you guys about Bigfoot or cryptids. I never read up on them. I never was interested in stories about them. It was just like, oh yeah, that's great. Then I started to understand a lot more about Bigfoot in particular as an interdimensional being. But just now, it's like one of the things I do is, you know, I cover on my channel a lot of cryptids and extraterrestrials and ultra terrestrials. It has to be all inclusive. And I think that's why this community is so divisive or so divided a lot of the time, because it's like we can't just all come together. We all have a little piece of the puzzle, and I feel like it does all connect somehow. But because we're so divisive and we're so, no, you know, Bigfoot's more important than the devil and or spirits, and spirits are more important than extraterrestrials, we're never going to make those connections if we don't work together.
But this question, I just thought of a question. I don't know if anybody ever asked you this question, because you see spirits. Have you ever saw a spirit of a cryptid or an ET by any chance?
I get visitations. See, extraterrestrials are light beings, or that doesn't mean they are all of the light, but they are all light beings. They are all spirit like, so they don't like die like that. Their energy kind of it's a whole long thing. As far as seeing spirits of cryptids, I've accidentally channeled a Bigfoot one time when I was in the woods by my house. But no, and that's why I really do subscribe to the fact that they're interdimensional, because I have never seen a spirit of a Bigfoot or a skunk ape roaming around. Like, I've seen demons. I've even seen doe and deer and buck spiritually in my yard. So I've seen animal spirits. I've seen the spirit of deceased animals in friends' houses and family members' houses. It has never happened. Now, I would say I'm only in northern New Jersey, so maybe I'm not in an area. I don't travel. I barely leave my house because I'm afraid of what I'm going to see out there.
That's a good point.
But like I said, I have accidentally channeled one right in my backyard one time. So they've got to be around here somewhere for that to happen. I wasn't just pulling it out of the ether. And I did research.
Good question. Usually when you see these deers or whatever, is it usually where they passed away, or can you see a spirit that passed away? I don't know. Okay, okay, you're in New Jersey, so I live in Washington. We're on the totally opposite side of the United States. Can you channel a spirit that died here in Washington and talk to it in New Jersey?
The only way I would be able to do that is like if you and I were doing something like this, or we were on the phone. I can pull any spirit in, but there would need to be, like, for me to just randomly see
a connection,
like,
somehow.
Right. Like, I would see the deer or the doe. There would need to be a reason that a deer or a doe that died in Washington would be in my backyard in New Jersey. And there just would be no reason for it. But if we did it like this, I channel like this for people all the time through my spiritual video sessions that I do with them privately.
That's an awesome point. Why would a dead deer want to channel all the way to New Jersey?
Yeah, there's no reason for any of them to be here. But I wonder too, was the Bigfoot just there with messages for me to make me more of a believer? Where did it really come from? Are there Bigfoot in the woods in my backyard, which is very dense, forested, nature preserved land? You cannot build on it. It's county owned. And I'm the only house, like, I live literally in the middle of it. It's like paradise sometimes, but sometimes I want to rip my hair out because there is so much going on in the woods. Like, you have to understand, I'm also, like I always say, I am in northern New Jersey, where the mob was very big and they did hide bodies in the woods. And sometimes I'll get those spirits that will come and, they're coming with their death face on, half a face. And it's terrifying as a little kid. I can say that much. I've grown quite used to it since coming out of my addiction. And I really try to work with it now and help people. I learned how to make light so I can cross spirits over, when they come to me for help. That was one of the biggest things for me, was learning how to create and make that light, because I didn't know what to do for them or how to help them for so long. It drove me crazy.
And people, I tried again to share another tab, a video. StreamYard is just not letting me, so I apologize that I can't show you one of the main videos I wanted to show you guys. But I did put the link of the Gemma Jade channel that we were talking about in the chat, so you guys can actually here. I'll put that one more time in the chat. It's around the 42-minute mark. If you haven't seen it, when you watch it, they were just casually talking, and then you saw this black thing, light of day, just float right in front of Ghost Dragon's eyes, and just look at the eyes of him and Paranormal Pixie, because I think at the time, Gemma, you're talking, so it was hard for you to probably concentrate on what's happening to them.
Did not even notice it.
Yeah, because you're talking, so it's hard to talk and try to look at the chat at the same time and all that. So
yes,
it's hard to multitask. But now, since you're a medium, and I don't know if you call yourself a medium, but can a medium sense another person that's a medium? And can you sense that some person who claims they're a medium, but
yes,
they don't have nothing?
Let me tell you, I say this sometimes. People do ask me things like that. I've never been asked that, but it's actually a really great question. So when someone had, first of all, the way that I see things is a lot different, like with my spiritual eyes, right? So when I first meet somebody, I see them at a soul level. So I know if they're a piece of garbage person, if they're a good person having a rough time, like I know about them from the inside out from the second I meet them. So as far as abilities, the way I see it, and I know this is different for each individual medium of just how they perceive things, I see it as a funnel on top of someone's head. The bigger the funnel, the more the abilities. And mediums usually do have a certain aura about them and a certain type of funnel, I guess you can say. That's the only way I could really describe it. And I try to tell people, like, I don't call people out. If you want to go on YouTube and say you're a medium or a cryptid huntress, and I know for a fact you're not, I'm not going to go and try to call you out because, like, do you? You know, you're going to be found out eventually. So if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I always, yes, I do know. And that's why I avoid certain channels and certain people, because I know that they're kind of full of it, but it's not my place to say that. But yes, I can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah, I know it's not your place. You're right about that. But God, you know, some of these places, you know, they charge you money. Like right there in the town that I live in, Des Moines, they actually have there's a sign, you know, see a live psychic. And I'm always thinking like I should call that psychic place once and ask them if I could do a live show there to see if, you know, knowing walking in, they're supposed to have the crystal ball. It says on a paper outside. I'm like, I wonder if that person will let me do a live show just to see if they're telling the truth. Because if they're, I think if somebody's lying that they're a medium and they're doing that for money, that is such a sad disgrace thing. Because that means you're just telling somebody something that's not. There's no truth to it. And that, I think that's that person should be ashamed of themselves for doing that.
And they will face their own, I don't want to say punishment, but they will face their own sort of justice for that. Ghost Dragon said, he said he lost internet. He was waiting for it to reboot. He said, I'm hurting already. Now I lost cable. The whole area now has no cable or Wi-Fi. I can't even get on YouTube with my phone. He's really freaking out, but I told him, don't worry. Like, I jumped on for you.
No. I'm basically at my. I only usually do this for an hour anyway, but I know we had just so much issues. And Jim, I appreciate you jumping on because you know how frustrating it is. You have these plans. You're going to show this video slow motion, and then nothing works.
I said, I know how this can be. I'm not going to leave them hanging. Yes, Miss Pixie karma, and people throw that word around so often that it kind of lost its meaning, but there is a real definition of karma. Usually it's through lifetimes. So when people say I must have done something really bad in a past life, you know, you probably did.
Since I got you on here, because we talked about something that Donnie just said earlier in the show, I don't ever trust male psychics, only female, and only if they're attractive. Now, okay, joking aside with the attractive part, we were talking in the beginning of the show that I've noticed there's more females, unless, I don't count how many mediums are out there.
Right.
But I've noticed more females versus men. And some people made in the comments that that's because women are more in tune on percentage wise than a man can be. Do you see any truth in that? Like with that comment, like maybe women are more in tune with the abilities versus a man?
I definitely feel like, you know, up until recently, yes, women were a lot more in tune. But I will tell you guys that when I see someone faking being a medium, faking being a psychic, 99.9% of the time, it is a female. And I'm not saying all females are fake, because you're right. By percentage wise, there are more females. Because we are more in tune, we're more emotional, and you really do have to a lot of the time make an emotional sort of connection with your energy to these entities. And men are just more closed off. Men are worrying about man stuff, you know, I don't know. But the biggest fakers I've ever seen were actually percentage wise, if we're doing it that way, are women.
Well, it's if you think about nature, when most nature, females are the ones that have kids, male can't, and females will make sure that the babies have a home. They're more home oriented than men go out and they hunt, they kill. So women have more care. They're more, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not trying to say, I hope people don't get this the wrong way, but women are more in tune, care more percentage wise than most men in the world who just care more about themselves a little bit.
Men always, if you think about, the way humans, allegedly came to be, if you think about the quote unquote caveman, they were the hunters, they were the providers, they were not, and what someone said something to me one time that really hit home, and it's kind of in tune with what we're talking about right now, where they said, if a man really cared about his kids, right, he would make sure to love his wife or the mother of that child as best as he possibly can, because she is the emotional example for the children. And that's exactly kind of what we're talking about here, where it is the woman who is really kind of supposed to be the more emotional one, but we end up being more emotional. I don't care. People get offended by everything these days. I'm obviously not trying to offend anyone. I'm simply saying, yes, if we're talking about mediums, I will say, and as far as the attractive thing, Donnie, I know that was a joke, but I will say that I feel as though from my experience, not even a feeling, from my experience, that if 99% of the medium and psychic fakers I've seen are female, I would say 70% of them are very attractive, because they feel like they can get away with it. They can fool people more easily.
Yep. And one of the true things I know with everything you're saying is true, because like just for simple things, like I care for my kids, but when I drop my daughter off at her friend's house, I'll drop her off. And I'm about to take off. My wife goes, no, let's wait till she gets into the house.
Yes.
And I just want to take off. You know what I mean? And I care for them, but she's looking at the whole picture versus I'm looking at just, okay, I'm dropping off. I'm ready to go.
Yes, you've done the duty. You've dropped her off. Now you move on to the next thing that you have to get done. Women do tend to see more of the bigger picture. And that's why my mom, she has abilities that honestly, she's kind of just starting to come into herself, because I've been encouraging her. And I remember when I was little, like even now, if I tell my father, Daddy, there's an addiction demon attached to you, and when you die, it's going to take over your soul if you don't do something about your life, he'll be very upset with me. He will not want to hear what I have to say. And when I was little and I would say, Daddy, there's a weird man sitting at the table, or, I'm talking to the wall at school, so I get in trouble and they get called in for a meeting. My mom was always the one who would say, honey, I believe you. I believe in you, but maybe let's not talk about that with Daddy. But if I call my father now and I say, Daddy, I had a dream that, I saw this addiction demon attached to you, you have to make better choices, he'll be like, oh my gosh, and he'll believe me. If I put it in the form of like a dream, men just think of things differently. Their minds work differently. And I think nowadays, honestly, with how accepting and open this community has become. I mean, I always say on Wednesday nights, I have one of the best chats on the internet, and it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the people in the chat. Right? I don't get keyboard thugs. I barely ever get trolls, and everyone is so accepting and inviting. I have people say, I'm sitting here crying. It's my first time in here. Everyone is so welcoming to me. I feel like in that environment, we are cultivating, a generation of men who are probably going to be activating a lot more. But as of now, I would still agree with you and say that it's mainly a female thing.
It's fun, like you said, the community, the people that go into these shows, they're first class. Like everybody in the chat today has been terrific, and sometimes it does depends on sometimes the subject that you're talking about too, because I know when I do my live show tomorrow, my live show is called the Mandela Effect Memory Party. And Ooh. Dr. Wu, my brother, is coming back on. He's going to be on tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Mandela effects, but I also know that subject are going to bring in some people that aren't nice and cool like we have in the chat. Because there are some subjects that does bring in some people that...
And I just experienced this a few days ago. I had on a guest on Afternoon Talk, which I did Tuesday this week instead of Monday, but usually it's Monday at noon. And I had a guest on. It was one of my gemstones. So subscriber to my channel. That's in all of my streams. I've been helping him spiritually since January. We removed attachments. We cleared his energy. He's a part of our crew, I guess you would say. And he is a Christian. I am also a devout Christian, but I very rarely talk religion or politics on my channel because that's not what my channel is for. People don't need to know my politics or my religion. But sometimes when talking about spirituality, it does come up. And the first thing I will ask somebody before I work with them is, what's your religion? Not because I won't work with them if it's some type of religion. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you worship your bedroom, pillows. I don't care. But that's so I know which route to go when recommending like a regimen for you to follow in order to do what you need to do to become more spiritually aligned. But because I knew he was a Christian, I knew he was someone who prays to God. Stephen, or Ghost Dragons, and I were recommending crucifixes and holy water and the way in which to use those. And it was very triggering to a very good friend of ours in the chat who does not believe in that. So I always say, if you don't want to hear what we have to say, just click off and come back. You're never going to be banned from my, if it triggers you, I do apologize. But if you were on here and like I said, you worshiped your bedroom pillows, I would find a way to make something for you to do. And we would talk about that. It was about the guest. But I had not experienced that before, where I was so triggering that someone that usually is very supportive of me had to leave. But luckily they came back in last night and they were very understanding. And I feel like people just have to understand that everyone thinks differently about everything, guys. And if we could just be, I hate to be like, all you need is love. But when you're someone like me who can connect with source energy and who can connect with spirits and spirit teams, guys, you have no idea the one thing I hear over and over again. And I actually have tears in my eyes right now. Love, guys. It's love. The only thing you will ever be judged on ever in this life or after this life is your ability to be able to love. That is it. And I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about loving and accepting people as they are and forgiving. Guys, love is the key. Love is the answer to and for everything. And one more thing I want to put out there. People are like, well, what about serial killers? And what about these type of people? Let me tell you something. I actually have been to the funeral of someone that killed a few people in their lifetime. And it didn't come out until they passed afterwards. And it is someone in my family. And first of all, at funerals, the spirit of the deceased is always at the foot of the coffin 100% of the time without exception. Okay, they get 72 hours to walk into the light. That light, guys, was there for this multiple murderer, just as it is always there for serial killers as well. And that's a whole other can of worms we can discuss on Tuesday. We can discuss whatever you want, but I'm just saying the light comes for everybody, guys. There's always room to grow.
It's well said. It's well said. I think I had a conversation with Alien Girl. She was talking about it's sad to see channels fight with each other and all that. And I remember mentioning like, fights unfortunately does happen.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean you should give up. There's got to be a point where even if you caused it, somebody else caused it, be the bigger person and just say, enough is enough, because it's hard enough for you or anybody in the chat to talk about this to regular public in the first place.
For sure.
And for us to fight with other people who
infighting
that's doing the same thing, it kind of makes us look silly. So even if it's not even your fault, there's got to be a time you just got to say, enough is enough. Listen, me and my brother got into a little argument and we weren't talking to each other for a couple months, but then you get to a point where, like, I have a friend who died. I have somebody who passed away. It's like life is getting so much shorter that stop with the bickering, and doesn't matter whose fault it is. Just shut up, get together, hug, shake hands, and move on. We're stronger together because we're already fighting the regular public on our beliefs.
And that's exactly what I was saying before, like between people who believe in cryptids, people who believe in the paranormal, people who believe in extraterrestrials. This whole community, I always joke about it, but it's true. I'm at a family barbecue and I'm sitting alone in the corner talking to dead people because nobody wants to talk about, Ted Bundy with me or Bigfoot with me. It's so true. We have enough in our own skins, enough of a hard time in our daily lives just being who we are and discussing our interests and things that we want to learn, we should be coming together, because if we could all just seriously get along, then we would have the entire puzzle instead of just pieces.
One of my most favorite lines is actually from John Wick. It's from John Wick, because like I'm not like a religious person, even though my grandpa was a minister. And when the John Wick's in the church, is like, John, you believe in God? No. Well, why are you here? Because what if I'm wrong? And I love that, because that's how I look at things. I might not be super religious. I might not be a certain way of thought, but I could be wrong. And leave yourself an opening. Because I'd rather have that opening than just to shut myself off on certain beliefs.
And it's hard. Like Danny and I have been kind of going back and forth on a few things. And I just said to him, like, nope, this is what it is. But I understand that he has his own experiences and he has his own ideas and his own thoughts. I don't expect everyone to believe everything that I say, because some people have experienced some things, especially on the concept of hell. I get a lot of pushback on that. But that's okay with me. I love you anyway, come on into my chat. We can hang out. It's no big deal to me. Someone's belief system is not what makes me love them and accept them as a human being, period.
Yeah, you're definitely going to see that on my show tomorrow, where somebody had this memory change and somebody goes, Eric, that's not a memory change. Well, maybe not for you, but for that person it is.
A Mandela effect is one of the most, listen, I'm a medium, okay? And I think Mandela effect is more interesting than what I do. I am so fascinated by it. I'm glad you mentioned it, because I don't usually watch live streams, but I will definitely be in that one, because I've had it happen to me several times, and I'm really excited to see what you've got going on.
That's why I call it the memory party. It's about a memory. It's about, just having fun.
Who remembers this? Who remembers that? Yeah, for sure.
And all because it's not a memory for you. But there's no reason to fight, because a memory is the hardest thing to change in somebody's mind.
Right,
you just can't force somebody to think something else when they thought of something for so long. It's like you could try to say, "Hey, Eric, it might be this." There's a difference saying it might be this than saying you're wrong.
Right, and that's exactly, like, to use the conversation I was having here with Danny Staten. He said, we're talking about hell, and he said, I've been legally dead 3 times. Trust me, I know. So in his experience, that is his knowledge. I have no right to question that, to tell him he's wrong on that.
No.
But I can tell him in my experience, that's not the case. And I think that's why it gets so confusing for people who are skeptics. They're like, well, it has to be one or the other. No, it doesn't have to be. That's the thing. No. We will never know fully for sure until we cross over. And what your experience is going to be is not what my experience is going to be, and everyone is entitled to their own opinions and experiences.
I believe in reincarnation, and I know a lot of people don't. I believe we're reincarnated.
People don't. That's crazy to me, because, like, again, my experiences, I know for a fact it happens. Like, I remember past lives. Past lives with, and I'm not a past life person. Like, I don't just automatically know past lives, but there's been 3 separate people in my stream that I have met over the internet that I have suddenly remembered past lives with. And these visions, I thought I was losing my stuff. And the other people happened to come to me and said, hey, I had the weirdest dream about you last night. And it was exactly what I was recalling as part of a past life memory with them. It's just crazy. And we can never discount other people's experiences. That's what creates a divide. That's what creates infighting. And I'll be in there tomorrow night. I'll try to help you keep it tame. I'll put my foot down.
And people, we're going to end the show. Just like the beginning of the show, I couldn't play an intro because StreamYard is not allowing me to do anything extra beyond this. Every time I try, it froze us. But I want to appreciate every single one for showing up. And I appreciate Gemma jumping in, especially when I got knocked off and I had to restart my computer just to get on, because when I was trying to get on with you, when you came on, it said device is not connected. So I'm like, on my own computer?
Gosh.
So I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, and I apologize. I couldn't show you guys that video clip, but maybe tomorrow, if everything is going well, maybe closer to the end of the show, I'll revisit this real quickly and show you that video footage. But I put the link in the chat also for you guys, and I'll do it one more time.
It's between 42 and 43 minutes, guys. And I will also be on Eric's show on Tuesday, which I'm actually glad I messaged him because he said he was on, and I had it put down for like nighttime my time. So I wouldn't have even been prepared on Tuesday afternoon when it was time to go, because I'm so used to everyone streaming at night. So this actually was very synchronistic for me. But I do have 25,000 words I write every single day as a part of my real job. And I do have to get going, but I will always have your back. And if you need anything, let me know, guys. Reach out to me, GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com, and go on over to the channel.
Beyond that, guys, I appreciate you all being here, and hopefully when I click this end broadcast, it'll actually end it. Because I don't even know if it's going to end it. But beyond that, God, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Gemma, for coming on.
Of course.
Here we
anytime.
go. I'm going to hit end.